Chapter 22: The Tangled Web. Unmasking the Impostor Monkey King. The tale then shifts to a serene summer scene, where the travelers are confronted by the looming challenge of a formidable mountain. Sanzang, ever the cautious leader, expresses his concern for potential dangers lurking ahead. Unfazed, Wukong reassures his master, highlighting their faith and resilience as their greatest weapon against the demons that may cross their path. As they ascend the mountain, the disciples display their characteristic traits. Pig, with his ravenous appetite, is eager to quicken the pace, while Wukong, ever the protector, ensures their safety. It is during this climb that they encounter a breathtaking landscape, a tapestry of nature's splendor with cypress and pine reaching for the heavens, and the vibrant hues of wildflowers dotting the terrain. However, their respite is short-lived as they soon find themselves face to face with a new adversary. A band of ruthless bandits, led by two fearsome chiefs, demands their possessions. Sanzang, ever the pacifist, pleads for mercy, explaining his mission to retrieve the sacred scriptures. The bandits, unmoved by his plight, insist on taking his horse and robes, leaving the monk in a dire situation. In a twist of fate, Wukong, using his cunning and magical abilities, transforms into a young novice to deceive the bandits. He plays on their greed, promising them a share of his supposed wealth. The bandits, blinded by their avarice, release Sanzang, only to find themselves outwitted by the clever monkey. Wukong's true identity is revealed, and with a display of his mighty strength, he turns the tables on the bandits, leaving them in a state of shock and fear. The disciples, now reunited, continue their journey, but the consequences of Wukong's actions weigh heavily on Sanzang's mind. The monk, in his compassion, insists on giving the bandits a proper burial, despite their evil deeds. He performs a ritual to ease their transition to the afterlife, even going so far as to absolve Wukong of blame, placing the onus on the bandits themselves for their misdeeds. As the travelers approach a farmhouse, seeking shelter for the night, they are greeted by an elderly couple, Mr. and Mrs. Yang. The old man is initially terrified by the sight of the disciples, but Sanzang's reassurances and the couple's own kindness soon put them at ease. The hosts offer their guests a warm meal and a place to rest, unknowingly providing sanctuary from the very dangers they had faced earlier. However, the night brings a new challenge. The Yang's son, a wanted criminal, returns home with a group of bandits, plotting to take revenge on the monks for the death of their fellow thieves. The old man, torn between his parental love and his moral compass, chooses to warn Sanzang and his disciples, allowing them to escape through a back gate. As dawn breaks, the bandits, now aware of their enemy's location, give chase. Wukong, ever the fearless warrior, confronts the bandits, using his magical staff to devastating effect. The bandits, once a threat, are now no more, their plans for vengeance thwarted by the might of the Monkey King. In the aftermath, Wukong, carrying the head of the Yang's son as a grim trophy, presents it to Sanzang. The sight is too much for the monk, who, in his horror, casts the head aside and recites a spell to punish Wukong. The pain is unbearable for the Monkey King, who pleads for mercy and promises to leave if only the spell is stopped. Sanzang, disillusioned by Wukong's violent ways, decides that the Monkey King is not fit for their sacred mission. Despite Wukong's pleas, the Tang priest banishes him, sending him away in a cloud of somersaults. The disciples are left to ponder the consequences of their actions, and the path ahead seems lonelier without the presence of their powerful and resourceful leader. Sun Wukong, also known as the true Sun Wukong, found himself in a dire predicament. His mind, once as clear as a mountain spring, was now clouded with thoughts of violence and betrayal. He had been a loyal disciple to the Tang priest, accompanying him on a perilous journey to the western heaven to obtain sacred scriptures. But fate had a way of twisting the threads of destiny, and Sun Wukong found his loyalty tested to its limits. Sun Wukong's journey took him to many places, but he found solace nowhere. He could not return to the water curtain cave, fearing the ridicule of his fellow monkeys. The palaces of heaven were no longer a refuge, for he had been cast out. The 3 magic islands in the sea, once a place of respite, now held no comfort for him. Even the Dragon King's palace was off limits, for he could not bear the thought of begging for help. In his despair, Sun Wukong decided to return to his master and seek forgiveness. He approached the Tang priest, humbled and contrite, promising to forsake violence and obey his master's every command. But the Tang priest, his heart hardened by past transgressions, would not hear of it. He recited the band-tightening spell, causing Sun Wukong immense pain, until the monkey lay weeping on the ground. The band sunk deep into his skull. With no other recourse, Sun Wukong sought the intervention of the Bodhisattva Guanyin at Pataraka. He arrived at the Southern Ocean, his heart heavy with sorrow, and approached the purple bamboo grove. There, he was greeted by Moksha the novice and Sadhana the page, who led him to the Bodhisattva's lotus throne. Sun Wukong poured out his grievances, his tears flowing freely as he recounted the injustices he had suffered. The Bodhisattva listened with a compassionate heart, but she too chided Sun Wukong for his violent ways. She reminded him of the Tang priest's noble intentions and the sanctity of life, even that of bandits. She explained that while demons and spirits could be vanquished, humans should not be so easily dispatched. Sun Wukong's plea for the band-loosening spell fell on deaf ears, for the Bodhisattva did not possess it. Determined to right his wrongs, Sun Wukong decided to seek the Tathagata Buddha himself, hoping to learn the spell that would free him from his torment. But the Bodhisattva, with her omniscient gaze, saw the Tang priest in peril and decided to intervene. She left Sun Wukong waiting at her throne, promising to resolve the matter. Meanwhile, the Tang priest, unaware of the machinations unfolding around him, continued his journey westward. Accompanied by Pig and Friar Sand, he pressed on, his resolve unshaken. But fate had other plans. The Tang priest, weakened by hunger and thirst, sent his disciples to seek sustenance. It was then that Sun Wukong reappeared, offering a cup of water to the Tang priest. But the Tang priest, his trust in Sun Wukong shattered, refused the offering, choosing instead to suffer the pangs of thirst. Sun Wukong, his patience worn thin, lashed out at the Tang priest, striking him with his cudgel and leaving him unconscious on the ground. He then absconded with the precious bundles wrapped in blue felt, disappearing on a somersault cloud. As Pig and Friar Sand returned to find their master in a state of distress, they were filled with grief and anger. They tended to the Tang priest, nursing him back to health, and vowed to retrieve the stolen bundles. Friar Sand, chosen for his even temper, set off to confront Sun Wukong, armed with the wisdom imparted by his master. Upon reaching the water curtain cave, Friar Sand was met with a shocking sight. There, atop the stone terrace, was another Sun Wukong. Reading aloud the Tang priest's passport, the impostor, a cunning doppelganger, had assembled a mockery of their pilgrimage, complete with a fake Tang priest, Pig, and Friar Sand. Enraged, Friar Sand attacked the impostor, only to discover that it was but a monkey spirit in disguise. The real Sun Wukong, it seemed, had been there all along, learning the passport by heart with the intention of completing the journey to the Western Heaven on his own. He had even gone so far as to create a false entourage, believing that he could deceive the gods and obtain the scriptures without the Tang priest. Friar Sand, realizing the depth of Sun Wukong's deception, fled to the Southern Ocean to seek the aid of the Bodhisattva Guanyin. There, he found the true Sun Wukong, who had arrived days earlier, his innocence proving the duplicity of the one at the water curtain cave. The Bodhisattva, ever wise and just, decided to send son Wukong and Friar San back to the mountain of flowers and fruit to uncover the truth. Together, they would face the impostor and reveal the falsehoods that had been spun. Upon arrival, the two companions are greeted by the sight of a monkey who bears a striking resemblance to Wukong, down to the last detail. This impostor is enjoying a feast with his monkey hosts, seemingly usurping Wukong's place. Enraged, Wukong confronts the impostor, leading to an epic battle between the two. The fight is a blur of staffs and monkey acrobatics, with neither able to gain the upper hand. Friar San, unsure of which monkey is the true Wukong, is hesitant to intervene. His dilemma is palpable as he fears harming the real Monkey King. In a show of frustration, he descends to the mountain scar and vents his anger on the water curtain cave, but his search for the blue felt bundles proves fruitless. The story takes a twist as Wukong suggests to Friar San that he return to their master, the Tang priest, to report the situation. Meanwhile, Wukong plans to take the impostor to Pataraka Island in the Southern Ocean for the Bodhisattva to identify him as the real monkey. The impostor, however, echoes Wukong's words, leaving Friar San in a state of bewilderment. The two monkeys continue their fierce battle to the Southern Ocean, their shouts disturbing the Devis who protect the law. The Bodhisattva, upon hearing of their arrival, attempts to discern the true Wukong by using the band-tightening spell. However, both monkeys react in agony, making it impossible to tell them apart. In a desperate attempt to reveal the truth, the Bodhisattva sends Wukong and the impostor to the heavenly palace. The gods there, including the Jade Emperor, are equally baffled by their identical appearances. The heavenly kingly uses his demon-revealing mirror to no avail, as it shows no difference between the two. The monkeys, undeterred, decide to take their dispute to the Tang priest. Friar San, upon hearing their story, is filled with regret for having doubted Wukong. He shares his own tale of battling and defeating the impostor Friar San and the impostor pig at the water curtain cave. Despite his efforts, he was unable to locate the stolen luggage. The Tang priest, horrified by the turn of events, listens as Friar San recounts his journey to the Bodhisattva and back. The family they are staying with is both amazed and terrified by the presence of these divine beings in their humble abode. As the monkeys continue their fight, Pig, another of the Tang priest's disciples, volunteers to help. He leaps into the fray, eager to put an end to the confusion. However, his efforts are in vain, as both monkeys plead for him to strike the impostor, and the fight rages on. In a moment of inspiration, Friar San suggests that the Tang priest use the band-tightening spell to identify the true Wukong. As the spell is recited, both monkeys cry out in pain, but the Tang priest, moved by compassion, stops before a conclusion can be reached. The monkeys break free and decide to take their dispute to the underworld. There, the lords of the underworld and the king of Chujiang are equally unable to distinguish between them. The underworld's records show no trace of a false son the novice, and the judges are left baffled. In the underworld, the Bodhisattva king Ksitigarbha suggests that the monkeys seek the help of Sakyamuni Buddha in Thunder Monastery. The monkeys, now desperate for resolution, agree to this proposal. As they reach the western heaven, the monkeys' battle continues, their shouts and clashes echoing through the halls of the Thunder Monastery. The Tathagata, however, remains unperturbed, calmly explaining the profound truths of existence and non-existence to his assembled audience. The Buddha, with a smile, reveals the nature of the impostor as a six-eared macaque, a creature beyond the 10 categories of life. This revelation sends the macaque into a panic, but the Buddha's golden, begging bowl swiftly traps the creature. The great sage Wukong, unable to contain his anger, ends the macaque's life with a single blow, much to the Buddha's dismay. The Buddha, however, instructs Wukong to return to his journey and protect the Tang priest, promising him a place on a lotus throne upon the successful completion of their quest. With the impostor vanquished and the truth revealed, the Bodhisattva Guanyin returns Wukong to the Tang priest. The master, now convinced of Wukong's innocence, accepts him back into the fold. Pig, too, returns with the stolen luggage, having defeated the impostors at the Water Curtain Cave. Tang priest and his disciples, now united in purpose and resolve, set off once more on their journey to the west. If you want to know what happened afterwards, listen to the explanation in the next installment.